All right, talk of a boycott against Loblaws is gaining some traction online as customers demand the grocery chain lower prices by as much as 15%. Here to talk more about this is finance expert Rubina Ahmed-Haq. All right, Rubina, can you tell us more about the basis of this boycott?
Customers are fed up and they're saying they're going into grocery stores. They're seeing prices that are double of what they see in other grocery stores. They're seeing prices rise 10, 15, 20% year over year. And there's no explanation as to why we're paying $15 for a tub of feta. Some of the examples that were given of things that have just gone up so much in price. And then they look at Loblaws as a company and they see them recording record profits. They see that the Weston family is worth hundreds of billions of dollars, and that really does fuel people to say that's not fair. That should be the price. The prices should reflect what the product actually costs. And if you're reaping the benefits, you should also be helping us customers out by lowering prices now that inflation has come under control.
Rubina, though, is this, are the demands from consumers realistic, considering just how big Loblaws is and how much of the market they control in this country?
So it's not my job to determine whether they're being reasonable or not, but I think that it is fair to say that all of us have had sticker shock at the grocery store repeatedly in the last 18 months to 2 years. We've all experienced things like shrinkflation, where the same product that you used to buy last year is now X amount smaller, or skimpflation, where there's less product in it. So, or greedflation, as some people have like to call it. There's these iterations of the word inflation over and over again. And so this is frustrating when you hear of companies, especially when they post profits. This is the same thing that happens with the banks, that banks post profits, but then they still tell customers we're raising fees. And so food is something that we cannot avoid. We need to feed our families. We need to go to the grocery store. Loblaws is the biggest grocery chain across Canada. They have a presence everywhere. And so it's an easier target. And one place I read as well is because Galen Weston has also made himself the face of Loblaws. So it's an easy person to attack because we are all very familiar with who he is.
What kind of impact could this have on Loblaws, if any?
I mean, it could have an impact. For example, when they decided that they were going to get rid of buy today 50% off, there was a short boycott, and they brought those discounts back. Boycotts have worked in the past. PETA has been very successful of getting companies to change the way that they make products, less fur, less animal products, and so sometimes boycotts can take some time. But if it's something that affects the profits of companies, if they see consumer behavior change, vote with your dollar. People do not trust that the government is going to step in and actually make these grocery chains do anything. There's been all these consultations in Ottawa with not just Loblaws, but the other big ones, Metro and Sobeys, and nothing seems to have really changed. And we continue to see these sort of exaggerated prices on products that we're not used to seeing double digits on a block of cheese. And so that can really get people upset when they're paying so much for everything. And that's why I think this boycott could be successful. And actually, not just Loblaws, but other big grocery chains, which are just as expensive in some cases, bring those prices down for consumers.
Rubina, you mentioned how, Galen Weston is the face of Loblaws. How should he and, the company respond to this consumer protest?
I think they could be more transparent as to how things are priced. If they're raising the price on a certain product, then they need to be transparent as to why that is happening. It is frustrating when you go to one grocery store, and especially a boxed product, and you go to another and it's 50% different. So explain to us why that is. What service are we getting? It's not like at the posh grocery stores, we get some sort of different service. We still stand in line and check out our groceries and bag our own bags and take them to the car. It's not like we're getting some sort of different service that we're paying that extra money for. Yes, sometimes those grocery stores feel a little bit more elaborate. They may have different variety, but when it comes down to it, we're getting the same groceries. So I think being transparent is going to help, and actually bringing prices down on especially the staple items like milk and eggs and certain meat products that people consume on a weekly basis. Understanding that they are the biggest grocery chain, they do probably have more room to maneuver when it comes to price cuts, and that people should also not have to be so loyal to those companies. There was also criticism that these loyalty points and membership prices, these need to disappear as well, because just bring prices down. We don't want points, we want lower prices.
Good point. We mentioned earlier, Rubina, that tomorrow the Bank of Canada is making their next interest rate announcement. What are forecasters expecting and predicting?
So most forecasters are saying that we will see a 25 basis point cut, which is a quarter of a percentage point in June. And everything is pointing in that direction. Inflation is come under 3%, which is where the Bank of Canada likes it to be. In fact, if you strip out gasoline, inflation in the month of February, was at 2.6%. It came in at 2.8%, lower than expectations. So we are seeing inflation trending in the right way. And on top of that, employment rates have gone up. So it means that companies are shedding jobs. They're cutting back. And so it does show that there is some room now to cut interest rates. So that will, again, allow companies to maybe hire some of those people back. And because the economy has slowed as much as it has, that we can manage not stoking inflation by cutting those interest rates. And I don't think they're going to be as fast going down as they were going up. They're not going to see 1 percentage point cuts. But, we are the highest we've been since March 2001. For most of us, we've never lived through these kind of interest rates before. It's a good reminder that you have to be able to plan 5, 10, 15 years in advance when it comes to your loans and how much you're going to pay for them, because interest rates can go up dramatically.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. Rubina, thank you for the update.
Yeah, thanks for having me.